Welcome to VLearn's online class. In today's session we will discuss about linked list. Now, but before starting the linked list, I want to discuss about structures, pointers, types of memory allocations and the use of structures and pointers. As far as memory is concerned, it is usually used to store the data and values input by the user. जो भी यूजर वैल्यूज, जो भी यूजर डेटा एंटर करता है, वो डेटा टेम्पररली हमारा मेमोरी में स्टोर होता है. बट इफ यू वांट टू टेक इनपुट फ्रॉम द यूजर, फर्स्टली देयर इज अ नीड टू एलोकेट द मेमोरी फॉर इट. आपको कुछ भी वैल्यूज इनपुट लेनी है यूजर से, तो फर्स्टली यू हैव टू एलोकेट द मेमोरी फॉर द वैल्यूज which you want to take input from the user. Now, the memory can be allocated in two ways. First is static memory allocation and second is dynamic memory allocation. Static means fixed, means when you allocate the memory at design time or compile time, then it comes under the category of static memory allocation. For example, in case of arrays, if I declare int a5, it means a is an array of size 5 and have data type integer. It means this array will store, or this array can accept 5 values of integer type. This is static memory allocation, means you define the size of the memory which you want to allocate for the values input by the user, or which you want to allocate for the values assigned by the user. In this case, one integer takes 2 bytes, then 5 integers will take 10 bytes. अगर आप एक इंटीजर की बात कर रहे हैं तो इट विल टेक 2 bytes, और यहां पे एरे की बात की जा रही है तो इट मीन्स एरे, हमारा एरे का साइज है 5. इट मीन्स इट विल टेक टोटल 10 bytes in the memory. But what is the drawback of static memory allocation? इन स्टैटिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन आपने मेमोरी को फिक्स कर दिया, मीन्स आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट आपको पहले से पता होनी चाहिए. इफ यू नो द रिक्वायरमेंट इन एडवांस एंड इफ योर रिक्वायरमेंट इज एक्यूरेट, देन द स्टैटिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन इज ओके, मीन्स यू कैन यूज द स्टैटिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन टेक्निक्स. बट इफ यू वांट टू चेंज द मेमोरी एलोकेटेड ड्यूरिंग द design time or during the compile time, means if you allocate the memory statically and if you want to increase the memory size or decrease the memory size, then it is not possible in static memory allocation techniques. Now, if you declare an array of size 5, but if the user enter only 3 values, what will happen? The space for remaining 2 values are also occupied even if the user enter the value और यूजर डजंट एंटर एनी वैल्यू. मीन्स आप चाहे एंटर करवाइए चाहे आप ना करवाइए, बट इसने आप टोटल साइज लिया है 5 इंटीजर्स के लिए. तो दिस इज द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ स्टैटिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इज डायनामिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन. इट मीन्स द एलोकेशन ऑफ मेमोरी ड्यूरिंग द रन टाइम. अगर आप रन टाइम पे मेमोरी को एलोकेट करती हैं, देन इट कम्स अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन. अब डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन में आप रन टाइम पे अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट्स के अकॉर्डिंग एलोकेट कर सकते हैं मेमोरी को. तो इट इज फ्लेक्सिबल एज कंपेयर टू स्टैटिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन, बिकॉज इन डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन इफ यू रिक्वायर द मेमोरी एट रन टाइम, देन यू कैन allocate the memory for the same during the run time. Now, but to use the dynamic memory allocation techniques, we have to use some functions to allocate the memory at design times. Some of the functions to allocate the memory at runtime are, first is malloc function, second is calloc function, and third is realloc function. Now, these are the functions used to allocate the memory at runtime, or the functions for dynamic memory allocation. But there is a difference between malloc, calloc and realloc function. Now, but before using this function, you have to include some header file which contains these inbuilt functions. For example, if you want to use any standard input output functions, then there is a need to open the standard input output header file, that is stdio.h. In the same way, if you want to use malloc, calloc and realloc function, then you have to include stdlib.h. This is the header file you can use with malloc, calloc and realloc function. Now, what is the difference between malloc, calloc and realloc function? Malloc and calloc almost work same, means malloc function and calloc function both are used to allocate the memory, and realloc function is used to reallocate the memory. Now we will see the functioning of malloc and calloc function. If we talk about malloc function, it reserves the block of memory of specified size and return a pointer of type void, which can be casted into pointer of any form. If you want to use malloc function, you have to specify two things, that is the casting type and second is the byte size. If we talk about the syntax of the malloc function, then the syntax will be pointer name. You have to specify the cast type, then malloc function, and in malloc function you have to specify the byte size. For example, if you want to allocate the memory, there is a pointer called ptr. If you want to allocate the memory for integer type, then we specify the cast type as integer, then malloc, specify the size, that is 100 into, then size of integer. It means size of integer will return 2 and 2 into 100 means 200 bytes will be allocated, and the pointer points to the, this is the pointer, it points to the address of the first byte of memory. means जो भी आपकी memory allocate होगी, ये pointer उसमें जो भी first byte है उसको allocate करेगा. This is all about malloc function. Now, if we talk about calloc function, what is the difference between malloc and calloc? Calloc is contiguous allocation. malloc function के थ्रू आप सिंगल ब्लॉक ऑफ मेमोरी एलोकेट करते हैं, बट calloc function allocates the multiple blocks of memory and each of the same size, and it sets all the bytes to the 0. इसमें हमने जो भी मेमोरी एलोकेट करी उस मेमोरी में बाय डिफॉल्ट गार्बेज वैल्यू होगी, बट इन केस ऑफ calloc it sets all the bytes to the 0. And in calloc you have to specify the number of blocks for which you want to allocate the memory. For example, if you want to allocate the memory by using calloc function, then the syntax is ptr, then you have to specify the cast type, then calloc function, and in calloc function specify the number of blocks and element size. For example, PTR, if we take float as cast type, then in calloc function you have to specify the number of blocks and the byte size. It means float will take 4 bytes. It allocates the contiguous space in memory for an array of 25 elements, and each of the size of float. This is all about calloc function. Now, next is realloc function. Realloc function is used to reallocate the memory. Reallocate means आपने पहले कुछ मेमोरीज पे allocate करी. For example, if you allocate 10 bytes, 20 bytes or any number of bytes, and if you want to change the number of bytes or change the size of the memory previously allocated, if you want to decrease the size of the memory previously allocated, if you want to increase the size of the memory previously allocated, then you have to use the realloc function. In realloc function, you have to specify the pointer name and the new size. Okay, this is all about realloc function. Now, these are the functions to allocate the memory. But if we want to deallocate the memory, then to deallocate the memory, there is a function called free function. Means जो भी आपने memory calloc, malloc, realloc के through allocate की, अगर आप उसे deallocate करना चाहते, if you want to free that memory, then free is a function used to deallocate the memory. With free function you have to specify the pointer name, जिसमें से आप मेमोरी को फ्री करना चाहते हैं और जिसमें से आप मेमोरी को deallocate करना चाहते हैं. This is all about the dynamic memory allocation functions. Now, the next is structures, self-referential structure. Now, firstly we will see what is structure. In case of array, as you see, if we declare an array of size 5, that is int a5, it means all the values, that is 5 values of array will be of type integer, means the data type of all the values will be same. There are more than one values, but all the values are of same type. But in case of structure, it is a collection of variables under single name, and these variables can be of different type. Means जो भी आप values ले रहे हैं, it can be of different type, and each has a name which is used to select it from the structure. Means multiple values को आपने collect करा under single name, and that variables can be of different type. And the name of that particular data members is used to select it from a structure. We will see it by an example. We will see the functioning of structure by using a program. Firstly, we have to define a structure. You can give any name to the structure, like we specify here that structure name EMP. While using the structure, there are two things, that is structure definition and structure variable declaration. In structure definition, we have to specify the name of the structure and then member name and data type of the member name. For example, if we take ID as type integer and float salary. it will take total 6 bytes in memory. How? Float will take 4 bytes and for integer 2 bytes are allocated. Then the structure will take total 6 bytes. Then this is structure definition. Now the next is to declare structure variable. For example, if you want to declare a variable of size, if you want to declare a variable of type integer, then there is a need to specify the variable name, then data type. In the same way, if you want to declare a variable of struct emp type, then specify the struct emp data type, then variable name, that is E1. Now these are the members of the structure, but you cannot directly access the member of the structure. To access the member of the structure, there is a need to follow the sequence, that is to access the member of structure, you have to give structure variable name, dot member name. For example, if you want to access ID and salary, then you have to give E1, that is variable name dot ID equal to 10, E1 dot salary equal to 19,000. And if you print these values, then printf /n, the ID and salary is %d and %f. It means E1 dot ID and E1 dot salary. You can see this statement will print the ID and salary of the employee. Means if you want to access the member of the structure, then you cannot directly access the members of the structure. There is a need to access the members of the structure by using the member variable or variable of a structure. Now again, next is self-referential structure. Now what is self-referential structure? Self-referential structure is a structure in which one of the member of the structure is of the type of structure, or we can say each element contains some data and a reference called a pointer to the next element. Or you can say a self-referential structure is one of the structure which refers to the pointer to another structure of same type. और सेल्फ रेफरेंशियल स्ट्रक्चर हम ये भी बोल सकते हैं कि कोई ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर जिसमें एक मेंबर एलिमेंट ऐसा है जिसका टाइप which holds a type of the same as the type of the structure is called self-referential structure. This is all about structures and dynamic memory allocation functions. Now, the next term that we have to discuss is pointers. Now, what is pointer? Pointer is a variable. It is nothing but a variable. But the difference between normal variable and pointer is that the pointer holds the address of another variable. For example, if you want to take a variable or if you want to declare a pointer, then you have to specify the type of the pointer, then you have to specify the pointer operator, then the name of the pointer. For example, if we take P, then P is a pointer of type integer. Now, here we take a simple variable and a pointer. But before discussing about pointers or before discussing about the example of a pointer, firstly we have to discuss about the operators used with pointers. There are two operators. First is this operator and second is this one. This is asterisk. It is also known as dereferencing operator. And next is AND, which is also known as address operator. Now, if you declare a pointer and if you take a variable, here we simply take a variable and a pointer of type integer. P hold the address of A. It means the address of A will be stored in P. Means now there can be two things. If you want to access the value of the variable, you can use simply A or star P. Both are used to access the value of variable. And if you want to access the address of the particular variable, then you can specify address of A to take the address, to access the address of A, or you can simply specify the P. This means the address can be retrieved from P or address of A, and the value can be retrieved from A or star P. This is the use of pointer. Pointer is simply used to hold the address of another variable, or you can hold the address of another variable by using the pointers. Now, if you want to use the pointer with structure, then how you can use it? We will see the use of pointers with structures. Now, while using the structure, we see that to access the members of the structure, we have a need to give the structure variable name dot structure member name to access the member of the structure. In the same way, if you want to access the structure member by using the pointer, then you have to specify the arrow operator. For example, we will see by an example. In the same example, if you want to take pointer of a structure, then here we create a pointer, here we declare a pointer of data type struct emp. Then P will hold the address of E1, that is the address of structure variable. Now, if you want to access the value, that is ID and salary, by using the pointer. The pointer is P, and if you want to use members of the structure by using pointer, then you have to specify P arrow ID and P arrow salary. It means arrow operator is used to access the ID, or simply if you want to access the members of the structure by using the pointer of structure variable, pointer you declare here, then arrow operator is used. Now you can see the answer is same as the previous one, because the salary and ID's value is the same as in the previous example. This is all about structures and self-referential structure, pointers, memory allocations. That's all for today. Thank you.